Greetings, beautiful people. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why wolves and dogs in the wild, you'll never find an obese dog, okay? But you'll find, and here's the thing. If you used to shave a wolf down, do you think he's going to look the way you think he looks? See, the dog may look even bigger on camera, may look smaller in person. Everything's perception. You have no clue sometimes, right? Malnourished dog. His hair is already growing back, which is funny. Okay. Man, let me finish this video, fam. All right. So let's talk about into the topic now. I'm just gonna get into it. I'm gonna try to make this as sweet as possible. All right. Why wolves and wild dogs never get fat? Okay. I'm gonna put you over here. If you look up dogs in any encyclopedia, you will see their Latin classification is Canis lupus familiaris. All of them stem from this breed. So I'm going to be reading from articles here that I did, like I said, for the simple-minded. Because some people don't want to look up, they only want to look up shit for dumb shit that has nothing to do with anything. But they don't want to look up stuff that would benefit them. Because, you see, I'm going to do this research for you. Because, you see, you wouldn't even look up information on as to what you're eating. Because you don't have time for that, right? You won't look up, you won't thoroughly dissect each information from the foods that you're eating. Right? And listen, here's the thing. I talk about we're not human, you know what I mean? And this is all an illusion and whatnot, but there's a chemistry to everything. And you are hardwired to this illusion, which means that you have the ability to feel. So do you think that there's no chemistry to what it is that you intake, or just because you think you're not human, that you can eat and do whatever you want? No. No. Have fun with what happens after that. Especially when you don't know what you're doing with how to handle those emotions. If you look up any dog in the encyclopedia, if you look up dogs in any encyclopedia, you will see that their Latin classification, Canis lupus familiaris, and that they are domesticated form of the gray wolf, aka Canis lupus lupus. In other words, they are the same species. The gray wolf has been in existence for over 4 million years, but the domesticated wolves, dogs, have been in existence for only 8 to 20,000 years. Now that's funny because, see, here's the thing. Let's say if you wanted to drastically change a human's diet, for that to even evolve, it would take about 100,000 years for that to change. So if the wolves have had a certain diet for a certain amount of time, why do you think dogs are coming out with human diseases nowadays? Why do you think dogs, no dog is in shape? Every dog is fat. Every dog looks terrible. But why is this even important? See, here's the thing. If you're going to have a pet, they say man's best friend, okay? How good of a best friend are you if you're not looking out for his best interest or her best interest, in the dog's best interest? See, the dog's giving you unconditional love back. Some people are too lazy. They'll just give the dog tap water. They'll give the dog all these kind of crazy shits to eat and not knowing that they're doing more harm than good. And then some who think that they're on the right track by giving them people food. They're giving them cooked people food, which is completely doing the wrong thing as well. But we'll get into that. The gray wolf, all right? So check this out. Whether humans captured wolves and domesticated them or wolves domesticated themselves, it is not clear. Possibly a bit of both. With what is certain is that from early on, we selectively bred dogs with a view to developing certain physical and behavioral traits. Thus, over time, we created hunting dogs, retrieving dogs, guard dogs, companion dogs, and so forth. So they modified and designed a strain for a reason and a purpose. All right? You can't domesticate the wolf like you could a dog. So they took the wolf and designed these breeds for specific purposes, i.e. why you call a bulldog. A bulldog has its specific purposes. I mean, it's in the word. Poodles, I happen to see, they're actually very, very athletic dogs, and they're actually they need a lot of exercise. And they're actually they were used for swimming and retrieving things from the water. Now, the reason I even shave my dog, for example, is because I already put enough time into my dog. So, you know, as far as like going to work out with him and, you know, paying attention to mainly what it is that he should be eating and stuff like that, the last thing I need to do is worry so much about the grooming part. So I'd rather keep his hair short. And not only that, but I do go hiking a lot, and you know, there's deer ticks and stuff like that. I've already pulled a number of deer ticks out, and this is the reason why I needed to shave him down, just so that I'm not worried about him getting, you seen the poodle, they have thick hair. So the ticks are basically something that you have to you have to be really careful with any dog. It doesn't matter. I happen to just shave my dog, and you know, and it's not only because it's summertime, because you see dogs, their vessels are perfect. See, even with that furry big coat, that's how they can regulate their temperature in the heat or in the winter. Now, I am letting his hair grow now. I'm letting it grow, but because now it's a little cooler out, so I'm not going to be going hiking as much as I did when it was summertime. But continuing on. So what is certain is that from early on, we selectively bred dogs with a view to developing certain physical and behavioral traits, thus over time creating hunting dogs, retrieving dogs, guard dogs, companion dogs, and so forth. So going back to where I was. We may have managed to alter the way dogs look, and to a certain extent. Think about this, but physiologically, they haven't changed. So they changed the way they look, but physiologically, they haven't changed. There is absolutely no difference, apart from size, between the internal organs and digestive process of a Chihuahua and a gray wolf. This is why they should eat the same diet. Why wolves don't get fat. Why don't wolves and wild dogs ever get fat? In fact, why don't you ever see any fat animals in the wild, even when there is plenty of food to go around? There are two reasons. Firstly, they are eating a specific, biologically appropriate diet. All right? This ensures that they receive the energy they need and can achieve optimal health. Secondly, the single exception of humans, with the single exception of humans, all species self-regulate the amount of food they eat. This means that they maintain the ideal weight. When designing the Lucky Dog diet, all I have done is replicate a dog's biologically appropriate diet and worked out much of the food that they've been eating, which would be every day. Now check this out. So this, for example, is promoting a Lucky Dog diet, which is cool. But I'll tell you what happens. When you market something, you will do the utmost extensive research. So sometimes and I will let you know this, you will find some fucking jewels in websites that are actually promoting a certain food. Jewels in those websites. So don't forget to look in there too. And like I said, I picked up the first thing I saw for the simple-minded individual that would only look up the first thing. Okay? All right, so it says, to do this, I've had to study the canine digestive system. Given that I pretty much slept through biology school, I was surprised at quite how intriguing canine digestion turned out to be. Indeed, if you love dogs, I think you will find what is to follow fascinating. So yeah, I mean, if you have dogs, I mean, you might as well take advantage and listen to what's to come right now. The secrets of canine digestion revealed. The bond between humans and dogs is so close that it is very easy to forget that, being different species, we have markedly different digestive systems. Dogs actually have the same digestive system as the gray wolf and therefore need to eat the same diet. The word need is worth stressing. Every living creature on Earth must eat a biologically appropriate diet. Some species have a greater tolerance than others, but no species thrives on the incorrect diet and may become ill and die. It is possible for a species to partially adopt a new diet. Paleontologists believe this change takes at least 100,000 years, which I just said before this. Meat, glorious meat. Dogs are carnivores. True that they can and do eat vegetable matter, but anatomically, they are designed to catch, kill, and eat prey. As with other predatory mammals, they have powerful muscles relative to their size, fused wrist bones, and a cardiovascular system that supports both sprinting and endurance running. And a quick look inside their mouth is all it takes to understand what they are really much, much closer to being carnivores than omnivores. Your dog's mouth is a bit like a Swiss Army knife. No matter how sweet and innocent a dog may look, the inside of his or her mouth tells a different story. Dogs have 4 main types of teeth, which are designed to perform different and precise functions: catching and killing prey, tearing off meat and scraping meat off the bones, and grabbing, holding, and crushing bones. They also work like scissors, cutting sinews and muscles. None of these teeth, however, is capable of grinding food. Indeed, if you gently try to move a dog's jaw from side to side, necessarily for the grinding and chewing, you'll find that it is impossible. A dog's jaw can only move up and down. So if you notice when they're eating meat, that's where they do that. They're literally cutting the meat like scissors. Have you tried to rip a piece of meat raw? It's a lot harder than doing it when the meat is already cooked, right? So think about what it does to the feel of the meat in comparison to when it's raw. Not only that, but the pH changes when you cook the meat. Do you know the pH of the meat when it's raw? All the action takes place in the stomach. This is the topic now we're going into. A dog's digestive process starts in its stomach. While humans start in the mouth, the dogs start in his stomach, which is why they try to get all the food in as quick as possible, because this is where the digestion starts. So if you look at if you look at a dog inhaling their food, literally, okay, they're doing it because, for one, let's talk about this. The kibbles, they're not getting nutrients from that shit. And this is why your dog's always hungry. If your dog was getting an appropriate diet, it would not be hungry all the time. It's just like humans. We're always hungry because we don't get the right nutrients in our system. We're eating shit. And now, when a dog eats, you'll notice they suck in their stomach and their ribs pop out, causing the illusion of what you saw, right? The mind game. A dog's digestive process starts in his stomach. This differs dramatically from humans. We use our teeth to grind our food and moisten it with saliva containing digestive enzymes so that the digestive process is well in hand by the time we swallow. Dogs, on the other hand, don't have any digestive enzymes in their saliva, and even if they did, it would be useless because they can't grind their food owing to having jaws that can only open and close. Instead, they gulp their food with a view to getting it to where all the action takes place in the stomach as quick as possible. What happens when the food arrives? The stomach starts to produce digestive enzymes and other chemicals to break it down into smaller molecules that can be absorbed and used by the body. Some of these enzymes are produced by the pancreas, but many are produced by other small glands in the stomach walls itself. To help the digestive process, dogs have extremely strong and corrosive stomach acids, which is why they're carnivores. We humans don't have those corrosive stomach acids. Acidity is measured using something called pH, potential hydrogen. Neutral pH is 7, but when a dog is digesting food, its stomach operates between pH 1 and 2. Put in plain English, if you touched the natural acids in a dog's stomach, you would burn your fingers off. Another important point in relation to this is that most enzymes are extremely sensitive to pH and won't function in the wrong environment. Hope you heard that part. If a dog eats inappropriate food, then its digestive system can't function properly, i.e., if they're eating grains. This changes the pH of their stomach, okay? Which means that the enzymes that are in their stomach, okay, are not going to be working properly to help even metabolize or break down this food. Dogs have evolved to eat a lot quite quickly. Dogs can consume up to 5% of their body weight in an extreme short period of time, which is why you need to control the moderation to how much they eat. And dogs will always seem like they're hungry, and what does the owner do? They want to give them more food, and this is how they get fat, okay? To put into perspective, it would be like a 10-stone human eating, say, 7 pounds of food in a single sitting. 7 pounds of food in a single sitting. The inside of a dog's stomach looks rather like an accordion with lots of folds. Unlike ours, it expands when full, and its muscles massage the food to ensure that the digestive juices work properly. Once all of the digestible pieces of food have been dissolved, the muscles squeeze the now liquid mass into the intestines for the final stage of the process and for the absorption of the nutrients. A dog's stomach is designed to finish digesting one meal before being filled again. Did you hear that? A dog's stomach is designed to finish one meal before eating another meal again, making sure that that food is completely digested. Grains will go right through them, right? You do know that, right? Which is why they're always hungry. A dog's stomach is designed to finish digesting one meal before being filled again. This process generally takes longer than for humans, although it is very much depends on what the dog has eaten. Why dogs should eat a natural diet? Every species should eat whatever is biologically it's designed to eat. In other words, what it would eat in the wild, or as close to what it would eat as feasible. Dogs are essentially wolves, and as such are designed to catch, kill, and eat prey. They have a markedly different digestive system than humans and should not eat the same diet as us any more than we should eat the same diet as a cow. Look at the comparison they use. What dogs in the wild eat? Dogs are carnivorous, and the primary component of their diet is prey. This could be small animals, mice, voles, rabbits, birds, insects, and so forth. It could be large prey caught with the help of a pack. Either way, they eat everything. The internal organs, the meat, the bones, the lot. Dogs aren't obligate carnivores like cats. They can and do eat some vegetable matter, which is why I give my dogs frozen blueberries from time to time as a treat. Small amount too. Wild dogs, because he could eat the whole tray too if he wanted to. Wild dogs will search for rotten fruit and will eat the semi-digested contents of their prey's stomach. Some will dig up vegetables and eat grass and herbs. Dogs are also scavengers. They eat the leftovers from every animal that is killed or dies. As Ian Billinghurst, a leading proponent of natural feeding, has pointed out, dogs receive valuable nutrients from materials that we humans find totally repugnant. Things like vomit, feces, and decaying flesh. With regards to the feces, incidentally, these contain the dead and living bodies of millions upon billions of bacteria. They are excellent source of protein, essential fatty acids, fat-soluble vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, enzymes, and fibers. Not wanting to dwell on unpleasant subject, but if you have a dog that is on the processed food diet, he or she may be eating feces in order to try to stay healthy. Although, if a dog is eating canine or feline feces, it would be probably because they contain the undigested flavoring used to make that palatable. Now, if your dog's eating grass, this could be the same reason. What dogs don't eat in the wild? Almost as important as what dogs eat in the wild is what they don't eat. For starters, as it were, they don't necessarily eat every day. Depending on where they live, the season, the size of the pack, the available prey, and other factors, they may eat as infrequently as second or third day or even longer without suffering any ill effect. A healthy dog can go weeks without food. Second, and perhaps more important, they don't eat complete meals. Dogs meet their nutritional requirements over time. They will eat what they need or seek it out if their body is telling them that they need it. This is referred to as balance over time concept. It is crucial to the way dogs should be fed because there is evidence that the dogs fed all the ingredients they need in proportion after every meal suffer increased health problems. Finally, dogs don't eat grain. They can't digest it properly, and even if they could, they can't convert it into sugar and store it for later use. So here's the grain problem. Why shouldn't dogs be fed grain? The answer lies in its effect on the pH balance in the stomach. Normally, this is quite low, between pH 1 and 2, because only with a low pH can dogs digest raw meat and bones. Grain has the effect of elevating the pH and weakening the stomach acids. Weak stomach acids means that the proper digestion becomes impossible. This is why dogs fed a lot on grain, and there is a lot of grain in the processed dog food, produce much higher levels of waste matter. It goes in one end and comes out the other. If grain is processed in some way, some rolled, soak, heat, or etc., dogs can digest a small amount, which is what dog food manufacturers rely on. Even so, there is another use. We humans eat carbohydrates such as porridge and pasta, convert them to sugars, and store the energy in our bodies for use later on. Dogs have no capacity to do this. Grain, rice, wheat, corn, etc. is much cheaper than meat and easier to process, which is why so much of it is used in manufactured dog food. You can reduce your vet bill by actually following all this as well. Now, I'll tell you something about like dog food and all that. They pay vets to sponsor their products, and if you go to a vet, you'll notice that you'll see certain foods are promoted on their walls, or they actually have cans there for sale, and people think that because the vet is selling it that it's good, but it's not. It's just that they were paid to sell it. Okay? Now, I'll tell you one thing. If you have dogs and you don't do what I do, see, dogs have to get in shape the same way people have to get in shape. And when we work out to a certain extent, we look a certain way. Okay? We look a certain way. We change our bodies a certain way. Why do you think when we look at certain people who look ripped up, we're like, oh my God, how did that, I don't know how that person got like that, right? See, you look at my dog, and my dog got a certain way. You can't even fathom the thought of your dog looking like that because you will never do what I do with my dog, right? You didn't train your dog to do that, okay? So, besides, a lethargic dog would have no muscle mass. It would be gone, okay? So if you looked up athletes, for example, they're actually thin but with muscles, so their body fat is low, okay? Now, it doesn't benefit a dog to be fat at all. It doesn't benefit the dog, but you can look up pit bulls online. Look up pictures of pit bulls. They're rib cage shows, but they're also a different genetic breed than my dog, which means that they're going to have big muscle mass, but you could clearly see the ribs. But they don't look skinny because of the fact that their muscles are so freaking big. But these dogs are given steroids or certain chemicals to make them like that. Okay? So, I'm going to continue on. So, stay tuned for the next part.